Hello, Fredlings. I am Claude from Chicago. We are here for real people with real creativity in real time. Fredlings never give up, and I want on you. And today we're back with another live stream here in History Adventure Theme Park. We are having an issue with our screen that is not you. We are looking for a game to capture. That's kind of wild because I have not changed the setup, but I'm very surprised that the game is not being captured. Is it on the intermission page? No, it is. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming out to the live stream. If you're watching this live or post, my name is Claude from Chicago. We are here for real people with real creativity in real time. Friendlings never give up, and I want on you. And today we're going to be working on our final area of the Egypt, which is the Valley of the Kings. And we're going to be working on the Valley of the Kings, which down here we'll go way more in depth. But what is the History Adventure theme park? What does this even mean? So if you are new to the series, this series is a theme park like Epcot. If you don't know what Epcot is, it is one of the four parks in Walt Disney World in Florida. And Epcot has a huge ball in the middle. Well, near the entrance in Epcot. But long story short, you go around the world and you see different countries and you see different things. Here, we're doing the same sort of but the same sort of idea. Where we go around the world, but instead of it being just generic countries and cultures, we are actually going through the history of each country that is built to give a symbolization to this theme park. So unlike Epcot, which it shows you, China, Mexico, France, Egypt, and all that, it's just, very basic. There's, themed rides and all that sort of stuff, which is cool. We're going through, like, the history. For example, we have the United Kingdom over here going through the Industrial Revolution, and it goes through the horrible mining conditions and the horrible factory conditions that the people live in. It's pretty ultra-realistic, huh? And then the wealth and divide through society. And then we're going back into Egypt, which Egypt is obviously the pinnacle, the actual Egypt before everything was robbed away. And if you want my in-depth thoughts about how the pyramids were built, watch part 1 of the Egyptian series. But long story short, they were not built by aliens still. And then these two buildings here are themed and designed as spaceships. So this is how people get through each area, going back in time, giving it a little bit of theme. You go out of a spaceship into this time warp, and then there's going to be like these little bridges and these little gap things that kind of bring you in there. But we're pretty much almost done with this entire area for Egypt, thankfully. It was actually one of our quickest built things I think we have done in a long time. But now we are moving on to the Valley of the Kings. So if you do not know what the Valley of the Kings are, the Valley of the Kings is a area in Egypt. And the new and old kingdom pharaohs were actually buried inside of the Valley of the Kings. And they were never actually buried inside of the pyramids. Or they never actually found any mummies buried inside of a pyramid. It's not saying that they weren't. Let me correct myself. Now, you'd be like, Claude, they found a sarcophagus inside of the this is why you gotta go watch the other part. This is why you gotta go watch the other parts. But they'll be like, Claude, they found a sarcophagus inside of the one of the tombs. Now, there's two types of history you can go off of. You can go off of the religious history, which is what I go off of, or you can go off of modern history from the archaeologists there. It honestly is up to you for whatever you want to believe, but the pyramids are way older, in my opinion, going through the religious sources. They're actually significantly older from what they are. So that's what I believe, and that's the theory we're going, or not the theory, that is the fact we are going off of. And if you don't want to believe that, you can believe whatever you want. I don't care. But that is what we are going off of for here. So you can try to influence me as many ways as you possibly want to or whatever, but that is not true, and that is not what I'm going to believe. And that is what I'm going to believe is we're going off of the religious thing given to us by God himself. And that is what we're going off of. So, long story short, now that I got that rant out of the way again, the Valley of the Kings is where all the pyramid or all the pharaohs were actually buried. They were buried in the Valley of the Kings to hide their bodies and their not their, well, I guess their bodies, yes, but to hide their well, I guess they are bodies. Why can I not think of it? Hide their mummified bodies inside of just hide it. Because long story short, like the Valley of the Kings, this would be built into a side of the mountain, right? And there was a little door, and you go down the door and you go down a hallway. There's like one or two misleading paths, and then a couple K-stone blocks sort of dropped in there. The portcullis blocks dropped in there so no one could open it by physical force. The only way you can get around it would be digging through the stones itself, but they were made of tough stone, or digging around more of the softer stones and getting inside. They weren't filled with snakes. They weren't filled with other things. The Valley of the Kings also was a place that people of the family could come back and actually visit their family members in some cases. That is true, and that is not we're not going off a religious context of that. I mean, even if you go off the religious context, you can. The religious context, for what I'm saying, for people that do not know what I'm trying to, or if I'm not explaining it correctly, the religious context is in the Quran, the Bible, and the Torah. God says he's building these monuments. Or God didn't build the monuments. God's saying the people of the time built the monuments to be a testament to other gods. God said, I'm not doing that. And God wiped them people from the earth. And he left those monuments to be there for a forever stone. And people were going to take from the monuments to build for their own. And those gods would be lost in eternity. And it would also serve as a reminder for everyone else to pray to the one God, the true God, or, spend the rest of their life in hell. So that's why we're going off of that. But then later on, after the modern day Egyptians and the old and the new kingdom, they were stealing limestone blocks off of pyramids themselves and trying to recreate those pyramids to build their own pyramids to mimic them. But they didn't know how it was done. They could not get the proper structure. They could not get the proper design. They could not get the proper plans. Why would be the three oldest pyramids in Giza and throughout the entirety of Egypt, the oldest pyramids, which are supposedly stated around 5,000, 6,000 years old, supposedly 5,000, 6,000 years old, supposedly are the oldest and the nicest, but the newer pyramids are worse. Well, as Simon pointed out, and as I knew, yes, people might have done them for cheaper, but if they did them for cheaper, not every single person, not every pharaoh would have made theirs cheaper, because they would have known the ramifications of building a cheaper monument. Because if these were supposedly built for the gods, which the pharaohs were gods themselves, that's, sort of the reason why they, didn't make it. Wouldn't they want their bodies to be preserved for the afterlife properly? Wouldn't they want that? But they cheaped out on their own burial. That would not make any sense. That would make no sense. If you thought you were going to make it to the afterlife in this physical form, wouldn't you want the best thing? That'd be like hiring a crappy lawyer. It's not like they didn't have the money for it. They definitely had the funds. They definitely had the funds to build a better pyramid if they, wanted to. So, with that being said, we're going to stop going through all that because modern Scientologists do not like that, and so does not modern people. They were also not built by slaves. None of the pyramids in the entirety of the entire world were built by slaves. That is another thing I want to get off the top of my head. None were built by slaves. Oh man, I kind of wish this didn't come out that far because I kind of wanted to build the walls around this because this is supposed to be like a museum for the record. Like down here, obviously, I didn't go through my understanding of the Valley of the Kings. So the Valley of the Kings was built in the Old Kingdom and the New Kingdom, and the Valley of Kings were built into the side of the mountains. For example, this would be for example, this was a mountain. They would cut a hole in it. They would be a couple different ways, a couple of traps in terms of misleading people off, and then you would go into the burial chambers. The burial chambers would have one spot for the pharaoh, the pharaoh, also God in some cases, according to them. The pharaoh would have all of his stuff with him. These would be servants. These would be slaves. These would be dogs. These would be animals. These would be alligators. These would be snakes. They would be anything you needed for the afterlife, and they would all be mummified. Unfortunately, for the servants and the slaves and the animals and the dogs and the crocodiles and every other thing you could think of, they were killed and mummified to be put inside of these things, to be a forever servant to your god or to your king. They also put in boats. They also put in chariots. They put in carts. They put in wheels. They put in food. They put in all this. People would come visit them, and they would bring gold. They would bring more food, and the only way you could get into the afterlife is you needed people to remember your name. Once your name was lost, you could never get into the afterlife. And this is where it comes back into the religious theory. If you want to call it theory, I believe it is true. We have no idea who built the main 3 pyramids. We have not a single written record. Wouldn't that go against their stance that they would be forgotten for history even though they built the greatest monuments of all time? Wouldn't God know how to remove somebody's name? But Claude 1 is named after Ramses the Second. One's the Great Pyramid of Giza. One's called this. No one knows that it was built after Ramses the Second. We are believing that it could have been, but we're going off of modern Scientology. The pyramids, based on the water erosions around the Sphinx, as well as the pyramids themselves, based on wind and water erosion, it dates it back to 20 to 30,000 years older than what it says. But why would modern Scientologists lie, Claude? There would be no reason why a modern Scientologist lie. And you know what? Do people lie anytime? Ever? Everyone speaks the truth 100% of the time. Husband to wives, people to other people, politicians, they would never lie to anybody. So you are correct. But Claude, you can't say that. You can't say that. Well, I am saying that. I am saying that modern. What is this thing called again? This is called a temple. Modern Egyptologists, from videos and articles that I have read online, have a financial benefit for them keeping the history the way that they wrote it. They are the leaders in the field. They have financial backing from it, and they also have political power because unlike other monuments in America at least, they have they literally could do whatever they want. If they don't want to, they have political power. But you could also talk about the not the Scientologists. Don't get me started on them. But you could also get started on the Egyptologists and talk about why are some of them stealing from the. If they're the leaders of science, why are they stealing stuff for their own personal collections? But it's okay. It's all up to them. But that is. I would like to say that it's a theory, but that's a fact. Oh, the music's finally going. This is the first time. Joey, thank you so much for coming out to the stream. Mr. Darks, thanks for coming out to the stream. Mr. Dark says, oh, somebody actually is coming down here. Ooh, look at that. Joey, they got the skull hats. I can't click on them. Oh, it's like an Aztec skull hat. Mr. Dark says, did you do South America ancient sites did you know South American ancient sites are more impressive than the pyramids? Like the Inca Road is really cool, and the Machu Picchu plus Global Kelpie and Tipiki is really cool. I know that Gold Tipiki is not South America's site. It is just really cool. That's the one in India, correct? Mayan pyramids have more carvings on them, like Chica Aztec, which has shadows of snakes, which is so cool. Thank you so much for the comment for that. Now, Mr. Dark, as you clearly seen by me just reading that, I am not a expert and knowledge of the my history knowledge is more of European, African, and New World America knowledge. Now, I do have knowledge in the Middle East. I do have knowledge in South America, and I do have knowledge in Asia. Very little in Asia. I would not say I would be an expert at all on Asia. I would say that from my understandings, from understanding the pyramids and the articles that I have researched and the articles that I have seen, goes back to the same idea of the religious context that God made. Well, the reasoning why the pyramids are made to a 100th to 200th of a millimeter to perfect precision. And you're trying to say that people carved these out with iron chisels. They carved them out with iron chisels and a hammer. Which, that is not impossible to do. We are not debating that it was not impossible to do with that. You could do anything. You could carve it out with the rock. You could build the Great Pyramids of Giza with the rock. But the timeline that modern scientists are saying that the pyramids... This is going to loop back to South America. So this will loop back to South America. Don't you worry. Is... some things just cannot be done with a rock or a stone chisel or a saw that they made up on the spot because they believed it could have been done. Right? The pyramids were supposedly have been built they should have built the greatest structures of all time within 20 to 30 years. With stone chisels and a hammer. You know what one thing you cannot do with stone chisels and a hammer or a rock? is you see how there's a perfect 90-degree angle inside of this. You need heavy machinery. You need another sort of way to getting it out. But Claude, blah blah blah, Claude, that's a stretch. You could chisel it out to perfection and get it right. But if you don't know, they have built obelisks. They have built rocks and stones, and if there was just a slight bit of chiseling or a slight crack in the stone, it would have never been placed in the pyramid. The pyramids are perfectly aligned. The capstone limestone outside of that has been all removed except for the middle one, which there's a little bit at the top. All gone, stolen. And the inside blocks that hold the pyramid are also set up to pure perfection. There's no idea of how they actually laid the blocks in the pyramids. They believe that there was a ramp. They believe slaves did it. They believed workers did it. They believe they brought it up on sands. They believe they made mega ramps. We don't know. We're not saying that the aliens built the pyramids, but what we are saying is that there is some sort of hidden technology that does not exist today, that from recovery of searching in the pyramids for over the last humanity's been around for civilization's been around for 12,000 years, but we don't have any idea of who built the pyramids. But that's why but let's get back to the idea of South America. I don't know so much in terms of in-depth of the history of the people and all that, but what I do know is about the pyramids in South America is this is where you get to the more science theory of it. The pyramids in the Americas are built with smaller stones. But the pyramids in America, the Americas, South America, North America, the pyramids are built with smaller stones, that is true, but they are also up to pure 100th to 200th of a millimeter. If you don't even know what a 100th of a millimeter is, look at the side of your... If you look at your nail in your hand and you turn your hand sideways, it's like smaller than your fingernail. Is like 100th of a millimeter. Or 200th of a millimeter, my bad. I don't know if it's 100th of a millimeter. I think it's at least 200th of a millimeter. Smaller than a fingernail. So they get these blocks placed in that perfectly with a stone and a rock and just a couple slaves and, a couple dudes just going out there and doing it. No, not even possible. Not even probable. So what I am saying is, if we go back to the religious context of the behind the scenes of the story that God gave us, I know it's real religious. We don't talk about religion very often, but this is the one time I will say it. And if you don't, you believe whatever you want to believe, for the record. That you can believe whatever you want to believe, but the pyramids in South America and the pyramids in Giza are quite similar. If you start thinking about it, the pyramids are quite similar, aren't they, Mr. Dark? All right, the pyramid of Gizas are the taller ones. They have bigger blocks, but they're pretty much perfect in terms of the tooling, and everything looks just flush and perfect. If you look at the South America pyramids and Central America pyramids and North America pyramids, They're also a little different, but they are built to perfection. And you're saying that the exact people from across the entire world that had no contact with each other until the brand new, till the discovery of the new world, you're telling me that people that had no contact with each other for modern man has been here for, civilization's been here for since 12,000 years ago, 12 to 15,000 years ago. They had no contact with each other for 12,000 years, but they built exactly the same objects. They build the exact same monuments that look exactly the same, that are built to pure perfection. What this idea is, and what I'm trying to explain and trying to talk about, is if you are religious and you do believe the religious books, which I do believe, one religious book, civilization was connected before, as in the religious texts. That means that we were connected. We were connected such a long time ago. And what people were doing is like what we would see today. You see skyscrapers, you see ships and boats. You see a boat from China, you might want to build one here in America. You see a skyscraper in Chicago, you might want to build one in New York. Might want to build one in Japan. You might want to build a skyscraper somewhere else. And that's what the pyramids were doing. The ancient pyramids of Giza could have been built after the pyramids in Mexico, because no one knows the actual time date. Modern scientists, Claude, say that it was built around this time. Well, if you're going off of the modern scientists, sure. But then you're cutting out the entirety of the connection of worlds before the new world. We were connected way before the new world. Before the Spanish took over. We were connected long before that. And it makes you really wonder at nighttime, if we were connected all way before than what the modern scientists and all these scientists say, and how much are they actually sort of hiding from us, or what we're not learning correctly about certain things? We already know that history is told by the victors. We all know that's true. If you don't know that's true, you're just silly. Rome, we look at Rome nowadays and we see some of the beautiful things Rome builds, but a couple thousand years later, you're starting to realize Rome wasn't that nice. Rome did quite a lot of evil things. You're learning about a bunch of things. It's what you'll see right now is you will see stuff be changed for an avenge agenda. You see things being changed for other things. So, just keep your that is my opinion, that the world was connected, and I know that for a fact. The world was connected a long time ago when God reset the world. When God reset the world, He reset it to zero, like He said. He left the monuments for people to find out, to remember that you pray to the one God. If you don't, you'll be burned in hell. I think the Egyptians adapted the pyramids. They just did the white limestone casing. The pyramids and the Sphinx is older. I think the people who Goblet Temple built the pyramids. Yeah, I mean, we will never ever we will never know which person built the pyramids ever. So this is one of the great things about history. It's just so old that we will never actually know who actually ever built them, or the pyramids in South America or Central America or in North America. We'll never know. We will never ever know. But if the world was connected before the Great Flood, the pyramids could have been all built by the same construction company. The pyramids could have been built by the same group of dudes. They could have been built by... We don't know. We will never know. Or it could have been like what they did in Chicago. Chicago built the first skyscraper. Then New York built a skyscraper. Then London built a skyscraper. Then Germany built one. And then France builds one. And then, Texas. And, boom, 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 boom. Now everyone has skyscrapers. They're all trying to copy one another. Then you got the Burj Khalifa. Right? The Burj Khalifa was not the first skyscraper. Right? But the Burj Khalifa is the most beautiful and the tallest skyscraper in the world. So they could have been like Central America. That they could have built the pyramids in Central America first, the Aztec ones, which are also, by the way, beautiful. And then they could have literally built the pyramids last. But even if you go off of modern Scientology and you're going off of exactly, say, I only follow the history books, I will not deviate. The government would never lie to me. Scientists would never lie to me, ever. They would never do that. If that's what you believe, then why would the first pyramids be built at perfection and the ones after that go being cheaper? But we'll never know. We'll never find out. So just things to think about, things to keep you up at night. Late night thoughts. All right. Well, we have these, like we're going to have this glitch here no matter what. But I need to figure out how I'm going to cover these little gaps and these little holes. I can fill those up with rocks. I can fill those up with other things. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. But maybe rocks would be probably the best start. Also want to go inside, and I also want to give in and start adding in some other, like, details. But we will start with the rocks first and go from there. So the Valley of the Kings, I don't even know if I even explained this because I got such on like a huge discussion. The Valley of the Kings. So the Valley of the Kings were in the New and the Old Kingdom. They built tombs and they plugged them up and all that. I did explain this twice or three times now. But long story short, the Valley of the Kings were robbed. All of them were robbed. That's why, the pyramids themselves also were robbed, but they never found any mummies inside of any of the pyramids. But Claude, there's a sarcophagus in this pyramid. I think I said all this before. Maybe I didn't. There's a sarcophagus found in it. But why is the sarcophagus found inside of the pyramids the crappiest stone ever and the crappiest textured and the crappiest designed? If they built the pyramids with such perfection, why would they put something crappy inside? Just think about that. Ask yourself that question. That's not me to explain for you. What? You're gonna buy a Lamborghini and then you're gonna put inside like a. What would it be like? You put inside of a Lamborghini, like you buy a Lamborghini frame. You buy a Lamborghini engine, and then the coffin that you're supposed to be buried in for eternity until the day of resurrection, you're going to put in the cheapest thing? That doesn't make any sense. So you think about that. That's what I would tell people. But the Valley of the Kings was definitely new Egyptians, definitely from the modern time, from the New and the Old Kingdom. That is for sure. That is true. King Tut. King Tut. And this is where you can use the modern scientists, against, people. It's King Tut was supposedly... Let's look it up. King Tutankhamun. I think that's how you say it. I could be saying it wrong. He died at 19 years old. Right? Justin! Alright, can we load this up, please? King Tutankhamun's King Tut's tomb was found in 1922, 102 years ago. Officially, well, soon to be 102 years ago, 101 years ago. And King Tut died at 19 years old. And he was found with the only intact tomb in the Valley of the Kings. To this day. Completely intact. Gold masks, bodies, servants, stuff, his body itself. All of that was found in his tomb. Not everything was there, untouched for thousands of years. And you ask yourself, how is this even possible to not be touched for thousands of years? Claude, wouldn't all graves be kept for, untouched for thousands of years? No. Remember, there's people in this world. There's people in this world that will literally steal something from their own grandmother. So, what would stop them from stealing from a multi-wealthy person that they don't even know have any ties to? That does not mean that King Tut's tomb was never attempted to be stolen into. It just never was actually done. And Claude, how is that possible? How did they never get into King Tut's pyramid? Or, I mean, in his, he was not buried in a pyramid. He was buried inside of one of these. Well, King Tut's tomb was actually at the bottom of the, was actually at the lowest point, one of the lowest points in Egypt. So, in the Valley of the Kings, he was at, like, the lowest points. In this huge desert that apparently water has not been there. Water has actually legitly have not been there, for according to my modern Scientologists, for 3,000 years, or, insert time. Right? But the water, there was water there. And the water, what is this? What is this sticking out? I don't know what's that. I have no idea what that is. But water went down to his tomb. And then water was running over his tomb. The entrance of his tomb. And then mud and dirt from the river went into the front of his tomb and sealed it off for all of eternity until 1922. I might be watching the stream on a delay. I reinstalled Chrome Flex on my old laptop since I finally put an SSD in it, and it's still a bit laggy because the computer is old. LOL. Justin, you take your time. So, the tomb was supposed to be sealed up, so it was supposed to be sealed up for history, but they actually found the tomb. The archaeologist was looking for it now that the water was all dried up within the supposed 3,000 years. And it was absolutely, I mean, it's immaculate. It is the most beautiful tomb really ever devised. Well, I mean, not ever devised. Let me take that back. One of the most beautiful tombs to be found intact. And then you ask yourself, Claude, he was 19-year-old. He was one of the least known, least cared about pharaohs. That's why no one stole his tomb. That's why no one cared. I promise you for a fact, even if he was such a small known pharaoh that nobody cared about, if they left all the gold in this less known pharaoh's tomb, people are just idiots. What is the King Tut's tomb actually valued at? Let's look at that. I'm going to bring up a picture. You guys all know who King Tut is, even if you don't know. King Tut's was a sarcophagus, which was made out of solid gold, weighing about 240 pounds. It would be worth well over 1 million pounds in today's currency, according to DK US. The archaeologist, the inside of King Tut's tomb, $1 billion tomb. $1 billion. Let's read another one. The richest calls it $1 billion. This one person says that the mask alone was $2 million. So why would King Tut, I'm bringing up a photo right now. By the way, you are not allowed to take a photo of the sarcophagus for King Tut. That is a jailable offense. This is everybody that knows King Tut knows this thing here. Now, Claude, there's two of them. There's two of them. Why? That means it's fake. Claude, that means it's different. King Tut, blah, 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 blah. King Tut, if you didn't know, you would have the stone sarcophagus. You would have the stone sarcophagus. Then you would have another sarcophagus made out of pure gold. And then inside of that sarcophagus, you would have another gold covering. And underneath that gold covering, you would have another gold paint on your face, if not even more. And then you would come down to the wrappings and the linens, all wrapped in gold and silver. And then till you finally get to the end, and you have the mummy itself. But what does that mean? Do we care? Well, I mean, do you care? That's up to you. I don't know if you care or not, but King Tut, a 19-year-old boy that died, is his tomb in the Valley of the Kings is estimated to be $1 billion. If he was such a worthless pharaoh, if he was such a worthless unknown figure, would they have buried him with that amount of gold, of that amount of value of silver and other things? Would that have been done? You know, nowadays there are modern billionaires and trillionaires. They don't spend $1 billion on even their own tombs. So, what we're trying to say from that is, even if it was, even if he was a lesser known pharaoh and a lesser value pharaoh, this is what you need to take away from what I'm trying to explain, or at least understand where I'm coming from, or you don't care. I don't know, then you just don't care. If the kid that's 19-year-old that is apparently worthless to, most people, then what? How much? What was inside of the tombs of the people that did care? What was inside of the tombs that people that actually mattered? What was inside those tombs? What was inside those pyramids? What was inside of those? Not the pyramids, because there was never a mummy found in them. Maybe they were so. You could also think about this too. Maybe the pyramids were so valuable that they actually just stole the bodies. But based off of the timeline, just if you're thinking about it in that context, if a less known boy's tomb was worth $1 billion, how much were the people that were worth something? Just think about it. Something to think about. Just something to think about. All right. So this is the tomb. It's supposed to be like a. This is supposed to be like a museum. There's no rides down here. There's nothing. And it looks like there's 2 valleys here. There's only one, but it looks like there's 2. And there would not be an exit like this either. So what I'm looking for is, I'm looking for like this stuff. Put this stuff in there. Look how demonic that looks. I'm not really doing lighting passes in this. So yeah, we're not really doing lighting passes in this. Alright, what I want to do and what I want to build is I want to build, obviously, a coffin. Or a sarcophagus, to be exact. I do want to build a sarcophagus. Here is... Oh, if that was bigger, that would be so cool. Let's type in gold. I don't think there's a lot of gold buildable things. I mean, if I could actually do this in such a way to make this look so real, it would be like gold this, gold that, paintings, this beautiful stuff. I just wish those were a little bigger. All right, let's look for like here's a coffin. This is a more modern day coffin, clearly. Oh, yeah, and then like, here's other things to look at, too. In terms of, like... I was watching a video. And they had a sarcophagus. Well, they actually just have a rock. Underground in a mine. Sitting in a random location in a world. Which is true. That's like 100,000 tons. And there's no way to have moved the rock in there. There's no way the rock has, there's no way the rock couldn't have been moved in there. The rock couldn't have been built in there. And they blew up. There was 2 of them. They blew up for science. They blew up this big, unknown sort of thing. It was 100 tons. It was 100 tons. It was 80 tons, the bottom, and the lid was 20 tons. I believe that's what it was. So they blew up a hole in it because the lid was shut. And there is absolutely nothing inside. But these people built a whole pyramid. They built these things with, chisels and hammers and that sort of stuff. But you couldn't chisel and or hammer at an angle to get 90-degree angles on the inside. It was blown up and closed for supposedly 6,000 years. Am I just conspiracy theory? I don't know. I don't know. But I'm not going off of a theory. I'm going... Well, those are theories, yes, I guess. But I'm still going off of the religious context. All right, fence. We're looking for the fences. Now, we are going to put these barrier fences here. And we are going to make these visible to people. Why are we doing that, Claude? Why? Well, it's supposed to be a museum, so we still don't want people, like, just, do whatever the hell they want just because it's a theme park. It's a museum. It's a museum. You still wouldn't let people just come in there and touch things. I'm not saying that there would be a mummy inside of this. I don't think I would have that. I would probably have, like, more of a fake mummy or something for a theme park. And I like it kind of being visible, too. All right. Other things that we could put in here. I'm looking for the benches. All right. This would actually be an absolutely perfect spot for people to sit down here and get away from the blazing hot sun. That would be a fact. I would probably come down here as well. We'll put a couple of chairs, couple benches down here. Now, I should probably color these with, maybe not colored. Maybe I paint them white or whatever. I guess I will. I changed my mind. I will. I wasn't going to, but we will. Reason why is because I said so. Second reason why is because I said so. Third reason why is because I said so. No, because I want to put the gold, and I want to run this gold in here so that we can kind of give off that vibe to, that this is, a tomb. There should be a ton of gold, a ton of colors. And, like, there would be colors. There would be this and that, and oh, man, it would be crazy. Put a couple garbage bins, too. I don't know if you put a garbage bin, per se, right there. I would like to be on the other side of the fence or something like that. I'm gonna put some more rocks in the front, too, or something to kind of keep this going. Look, people are running down there. Just kidding. Just kidding. Alright, where did that really demonic thing go? Can I change these colors? Oh my god, I could. And I should have. I'm just going to literally come through here, copy the code, and paste the code, and I'm going to make these all different, because these things would be very colorful, very attractive, very mint condition. You're paying, You might as well pay a heavy price if you want to try to make it to the afterlife, right? You give yourself all the cheat codes you can. And they would probably be different colors and all that sort of stuff, but I'm not going to design all that myself. We're just going to get it as close as, you know, we're going to get it good. This alligator, though, I'm going to definitely paint green. I'm definitely painting this one green, though. That's for sure. Did I do yellow yet? I don't know if I did. But we're going to do yellow. If we haven't. Or if we have. And then the circle. Did we do pink? I think I would have remembered pink. I definitely did purple. Click, 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 click. Let's go with lighter red. That's like pink. Let's go with this kind of red. Oh man, they switched to like 3 different colors. Click, 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 click. Let's go with this kind of lime green, huh? Shall we? At least the staff members are coming through here. It's not really, it's definitely not a shortcut for nobody. Except for maybe the staff members. I love it how it starts with purple and ends with purple. They're technically 2 different purples, but... Oh man, that looks good. It's starting to really pop these colors out. Alright, let's continue. We didn't do a lot of yellow. So let's add some yellow in here. Still gotta put that gold. Still gotta do all that. Do not worry. Do not fret. Here's the click, 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 click. Breathe air. Click, 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 click. Click, 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 click. Click, click, click. Why are you saying click, click, click so many times, Claude? Why don't you just click on it? I am clicking on it, actually. I'm clicking on it so many times that I say the sound effect because it's not letting me click on it. This is gonna be like one of the coolest things we don't see ever. It's kind of like most of my theme parks. I build a bunch of stuff and then you can never see it. I think these are the exact same colors across from each other, aren't they? No, it's a little different. I believe it's a little different. Yeah, it is slightly, just slightly. Let's go with dark. No, it's too dark. Let's go with pink. A lot of pastel colors down here. Oh man, that's looking good. I think that we need to have that gold thing right here at the back, so when you walk down here, that's like the first thing you see. It's a huge thing. Where'd it go? Oh, I forgot what it was called. It's like that big golden... Oh man, it was like that really thin sheet too. That would have been perfect for here. I just can't find it. I also didn't plug my phone in. I should have plugged my phone in about an hour ago. Okay. Well, I guess we're gonna have to look through all of this individually, or unless it's inside of building. It's inside a building. It is called Gosler Temple Door. So does this door actually open? And why doesn't this look gold? It says it's gold, but it don't look like gold to me at all. Gold hex code. It's FFD 700. That does not look like gold either. The default looks more like gold, but it's dulled out. I would like it to be a little bit brighter. That looks more like gold. It's very cheesy gold, but it definitely looks better than the other gold. Alright, perfect. So they whatever they were doing, they were right. It was just a little too... Seems a little... too dark. That's probably good right there, huh? My back's giving out on me. My back's starting to give out on me a lot, man. And I have a really good gaming chair, man. Literally. Spent a lot of money on my gaming chair so it wouldn't hurt my back, but apparently it's still happening. Is that old? Check. Is Claude from Chicago old officially? No? Check. Look, that's like so demonic. It's kind of scary, low-key. Oh, look at somebody's coming down here. What kind of hats are they going to get? I'm actually more curious about what kind of hats they're going to get. These are not the first people to buy it. They keep buying those skeleton hats, so... I'm betting that it's a skeleton hat. I think that's all we sell, Claude, is skeleton hats, isn't it? No, there's an alligator hat, too. I was not putting money on the alligator hat, though. We're selling spooky skull hat, crocodile hat, candy skull. Yeah, yeah. I was... So the only one that we didn't have was the crocodile. At least on my, idea. And while we're here, you know, we're not doing a ton of lights in this park, but we should definitely have, Oh, do the lights not turn on? I think it's because it's not deep enough underground. Okay, well then screw it. What other kind of gold do we have in this section? Oh my gosh. I gotta build a solid gold temple? Question mark? Here's gold trim. Oh my gosh. For some reason, it will not flip upside down for me. This probably would work the best. And that is not against a wall, and it's not flush against a wall. My heart attack's going up to the next level. Let's make this a little bit brighter. To not be too cheesy. And then we'll flip this bad boy. We'll bring it up. We'll bring it down a little bit too, so at least is a, you know, not against the top of the, you know. Okay, where was it originally? This is where it was originally. Let's pop up the gold, and then we will just duplicate this from here. Click, 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 click. This is why you, when you build stuff underground, you should build the interior first. I will always say that. Always build the interior first. Exterior last. I would say it's the opposite, and I don't know if you would say that's the opposite in other games, but I would say specifically for this game, that's how you would do it. That guy's like a Disney adult. Claude, wouldn't you just say you're a Disney adult at this point? Maybe. Well, I haven't been to Disney like that. Disney adults go to Disney by themselves. I have almost done that. I've almost went to Disney by myself. Oh my gosh, come on, dude. Turn correctly. Oh my gosh, man. Sometimes with this stuff, it's very annoying. There you go. Also gonna need some sort of fence or something here, because obviously I deleted it to get this in. Now, I would keep going with the gold and the in-depth, but this isn't, you know, give Claude a little bit of a break. Okay. Fence. Okay. I want a fence here. With this actually moving to hurt somebody, I usually do not make it a fence that you can't actually get through. But I might actually make this a fence that you cannot get through. Like a chain link fence. Chain link, you still see through. Which one's taller? It's this one, definitely. But I do not want people getting into this at all. It's too much of a risk, even in a, even if it is like a fake one. You know, there's some stupid kid's gonna do it. Now I gotta try to just grab these two. Click, 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 click. Ooh, more hats were sold. And now it's hidden away so people can't actually get killed. Oh man, this looks really good. The only thing that I could think that I'm missing left are like the little torches, but I don't think they're like when we were putting down the other lights, they weren't turning on. And it's not like Minecraft torches where they're gonna like come up. Oh, this one is turning on though. You don't know because it's an underground thing. I think it's probably fine. Let's make sure that this worker here is in the. I believe that it is. It's losing us money. Alright, he's in the right area now. He's now officially a part of Egypt. I always like to click on the work rosters and then, like, always click on our janitors. Go to our Egypt guy, and then he'll not be in Egypt. He's in Egypt. He's in Egypt. These guys are workload is high because I think their workload is high because they're really in the middle of like they have, you know, they gotta walk far. So I will build another. I will hire another janitor. And we are going to put Jonathan Benjamin, or Jathanton. Can't say his name, sorry. I'm going to put him on the Egypt line as well. And we're actually looking quite sexy here. We're actually nearing completion of what my thought and my ideas are. I want to put a couple more bins around. Get that stuff going. And I thinking about now, it's just coming down to the little details. A little bit of details. A little bit of details, and then we'll be done with this. Let's save, because it's always good to save. Always good to save. Oh, man. I'm getting tired. Anybody else getting tired? 7:30. Okay, what can we do next and what is next? So, what I like to do this at all of my theme parks ever. I always like to try to keep people in mind, and if I was a worker or something, I would want there to be a umbrella by me. Now, not in all cases will the umbrella block the person from shade. That is true. But if we could possibly just do that for our people, that would be so awesome. That would be very nice. So each area, we are going to kind of copy the umbrellas that do exist and place them down near our workers. Now, I believe the Fast Pass lady would actually be a person checking stuff. I could be completely wrong. I don't know if she would be in here. And then you would hear all the jokes. If you have ever been to Disney World, you would hear all the jokes. Man, you have the best job. You have you have an umbrella here. Wow, this is such a lifesaver umbrella. You would hear all of that if you were standing right there. Now, this lady, unfortunately, she just got the bad time in the day. And the umbrella doesn't really do too much, it seems. You know, maybe it's a pole that they could pull the umbrella out and put it on that side. Maybe they can do that. I don't know. This guy also looks like he's kind of in bad luck. It also looks like the umbrella is just going through that. Considering there's so much space here, I'm going to place the umbrella behind him. Because it's going to glitch through the wall. And it looks like it's doing some good work for this guy right here. Also, do you want all your guests cooking in the sun? Probably not. So, it would be beneficial for them to have some shade. Now, unfortunately for the Egypt is such... It's such a... This build is... People are going to be taking photos in front of this. There's going to be a bunch of stuff. You know what we should do? We should make it like a photo op area. But... We made a photo op area. It would have to be more off to the side. Just kind of like what they do with Disney World. It would have to be off to the side. How could we do something like that? What I'm thinking is we could probably build something over here, build it up on a height platform. Then you can get a nice shot of the pyramid without all these people walking by and also stopping traffic and all that sort of stuff. Uh, why not try it, huh? Why not try it? Okay, first thing what we're gonna need to do though is we are going to. This thing is so loud. First thing we're gonna need to do is we're gonna need to get ourselves a pathway, and we're gonna save because I don't want to mess all this up. We're gonna get a pathway like this, and we're actually gonna make this pathway short. Do we do fencing? Do we do all that stuff? Definitely. So what we'll do is we'll cut it out this way. And then we get onto our angle grid. And this is where Planet Coaster is very tricky for all you people that have watched me before. This is where it's very tricky. There's not a lot of space here. Do we make this handicap accessible? I mean, it would be kind of crappy if we didn't. That's also not very tall. That is very tall. All right, perfect. Let's actually just steal the walls from here. This is I feel like I'm in I feel like I'm in ancient Egypt. Stealing stuff from other pieces to make this work. But I do want to make this its own grid piece because I'm not trying to grab everything else. And I also don't want people like how do I say this? I want this to be... I mean, I guess it could be open up to the public all day, but I also want this to be like a paid extra. You pay extra to see these photos. Liam knows what I'm talking about. You pay extra for this experience. This is not free. I was going to say it could be open up to the public for free for the rest of the day. I feel like, you know, you should pay for extra for this experience, huh? That's nice of me, isn't it? Make a little bit of dollars. I think our finance guy would be very happy with that. Make a few more bucks off of our people. Right, look at this. It's like hidden off to the side. We'll leave it open to the public. Technically, in the game, we can't actually shut it off by using those, well, I actually want to bring this rock over here, too. Let's rotate this rock. But we can actually, oh, there's a couple rocks we're going to have to readjust here. More specifically, this one, because that one's popping out really good. But these fences here, these barrier fences, will not let guests walk in this area, no matter what. They cannot walk. Nobody can walk through that. There's also other ones that are called curbs that are black and yellow, which I think you can recolor them. Only staff can walk over it if needed. So, for example, if you made this here, you put curb blocks over here, only staff members can walk over it if needed, if there's no other alternative route. Or if they're going straight to the staff room, so they could cheat and cut through the back. So, you really don't use those too much, except for I did use the curved blocks I believe, under this port, or right here in this portcullis. So this guy can glitch through this wall and go straight this way to the staff room. He doesn't need, or is this a staff room or is that medical? This is medical. Is there a staff room over here? I forgot. Here's a staff room. But for say there was the staff room right here, he could just cut through here and go to it and come back this way instead of going all the way around and coming in. All right. And then let's grab ourselves a camera. Now, these cameras aren't really... These are video cameras. I know. These are definitely video cameras. But I do... We're going to use video cameras. Maybe we could sell another experience or something like that. Or, you know, pretend like it's a photo camera. And we'll kind of bag it up this way, bag it up this way. And I would like to use some sort of, like, rope to block this off so people can come in. So let's see what kind of fences we have. I would like to see a rope fence, but it doesn't have to be a rope fence per se. And I would... Ideally, it would be these. Ideally, it would be these. You know, it's just so you can get people kind of pathing around like this and they can wait in line and stand over here and do whatever. Now, I always forget what they're called. I believe it's called an entertainment point. And I don't know where that's found at. I think it's in here. Entertainment point. This thing is massive. Vista point. This is what I'm actually looking for. So we place a Vista point in here. And then we just select on this block. You know, let's select on the top of the pyramid. Why not, you know? This Vista point is going to eventually lead guests in the game to walk over to this location. Well, it might take a second. But it eventually will lead guests up here trying to take a photo. But we will see how long that will actually take. I don't know. But eventually people will come over there and try to sit down. I also want to add some more benches and that sort of stuff to get when people start walking this way, that they can sit down and relax a little bit. I'll put some benches over here too. And then I'm going to grab an umbrella and I'm going to put it by the photographer. And the photographer has the rights to move this because obviously you do not want the camera to get wet. And you also want it to be kind of dark for them so they can actually see it correctly. Now, these people are looking at the Vista points. They're not standing at the right spot. So I'm going to try to adjust this a little bit and put it in the corner. But they did come, somebody did come up there, so that's a good start. So we do know that it works, and people are coming over to this location. Now, how long do we wait until somebody else shows up? I don't know. But this area is really popping off, and I really like how it turned out. I'm happy that we did this in 3 streams. One of the probably final quick streams, because the last quick streams will be the Alamo, as well as the Slovakia. These will be quick because we do have blueprints for them that I made before. This is the Slovakian tower that we built years ago. That will be placed in somewhere over here. It is absolutely massive still. So maybe I will shrink this down to being just this size. I don't know. We'll figure that out. And we also have the Slovakian hotel, which is probably, if we shrink that down as well, maybe that'll work. Before, that was placed here. And then this was placed all the way up here. But the reason why we ended that other series, if you want to go back and see it, Fred's History Adventure, I think is what I called it, or Fred's World or something like that. I can't even remember what I called it. The placement of stuff was just too far away, and I just couldn't get it really to justify that. So I kind of like how we kind of built it in succession with each other. And it looks really good now. It actually looks really well put together. So it was not called Fred's Wonder World was the Magic Kingdom one. But I can't even remember what the series is called, and it's going to kill me if I can't figure out what the name is. So let's look it up real quickly on YouTube. While we're looking it up, I will let you guys ride the Magic Carpet Ride. It was called Fred's History Park, and it was put up on here. It was in time-lapse form, so if you want to go back and look at it. 3 years ago, February 17, 2021. So it's been 3 years exactly 2 days ago. 3 years ago, 2 days ago. If you want to see the rest of the episodes, hit that like button and hit that subscribe. That we actually put our last little video out. So kind of wild, huh? So, yeah, let's click on one of our guests, and let's walk it through this area, and then we will conclude this live stream today. So once you come out of the United Kingdom area, you're going to come right over here, straight into Egypt. Oh, speaking of, before everyone gets on me, we are going to add in the country flags. We are going to add in those details later on. But once you come across the bridge, you come into Egypt, and there's a bunch of things you could do. So one of those things is, we haven't seen anybody come over here in the right spot yet, is you can come take your photo here. You can turn around like this, and you're high enough up here so you won't see any of the guests walking by. They won't obstruct with you taking a photo. So that is pretty cool, and that's kind of like why I like this here. I'm going to grab another garbage can and put it down over here. We're going to have to rework the work zones, though, before we end the stream. So let's rework the work zones right before we end it. So, Tegicam. So you can come up there and take your photo. Maybe if it's super rainy, you'll let guests up there. Probably wouldn't, though. And then let's go into the Valley of the Kings. It looks pretty normal here. I would put a lot more details, but you know, it's a theme park, and it's underground. I don't think we need all that. It would obviously be lit up. You see all this beautiful gold. It's partially a museum. So you'll see this in here, some of the, quote, booby traps. That's not real, but, you know, I mean, in terms of a real Egyptian booby trap. And then inside some of these, they would be like a glass case, and you would look in there, and you would see these little statues and that sort of stuff. And you would see a mummy in here. And then, you know, real gold. So these would be, it's a museum, partially. So it could be a real mummy. It could be a real mummy. I think it would be a real mummy. I think we would have the budget to put a real mummy in here. And we would have some real stuff. So I would say that would be a real mummy in there. So people can come see a real mummy at Nothing But History Adventure. Then you get some hats in here. These are all skull hats and crocodile hats. So if you see anybody in the park, you know they have came and visited this area. This is not completed. I will pull this across here. What's up, Cripsa? Thanks for coming out to the stream. We're kind of wrapping today's stream up in this area, but we're doing a little walkthrough. So you come out. You can also vice versa go in through that way. I never walked in through this area, so I kind of want to see what it looks like. if we went backwards, right? This rock needs to be pushed up, though. And then we come through here, like so. So, looks pretty cool either way. I think it's way cooler this way, though. Bruh. Yeah, I know it's a bruh moment sometimes, but it happens. But we're still doing a walkthrough. We're going to do a couple little things. I was on the VC watching the realms actions go on. Let's go. We're actually going to be jumping into VC playing some Fortnite after this. We're going to be wrapping it up here, take a little break, and then jump into the thing. Got more apartments done in Midway District in the Yeet City. This guy is standing on a rock. Ban him from the park. He's literally levitating. How is that possible? Let's continue going on. This is the little eating area. We got some Dune Delights, which are wrap sandwiches. Chicken, vegetarian, lamb. Gulpy soda. And then we have Pip Shot water. Continuing going on. This is the back entrance that no one really should be going through. And this is where you can put those curb entrances to prevent guests from walking around. But I mean, I could prevent them from walking this way and pushing them in here. But it's also like an exit. So I'm not really too upset with it. But I actually really kind of want to see... You know what? We're changing our mind. We're changing our mind. Let's get the curbs. Let's do this. Curb. I always spell curb wrong, I think. Here we go. All right. Now, I want to do a scientifical experiment. So if we put a curb right here, guests will not come this way at all. Right? I could put up one of those big fences to prevent people coming through as well. But this was really supposed to only be an exit for the ride. But people are using that as its main entrance. This is what I was sort of hoping to see. But just the bathroom placement. If the bathrooms were over here, we wouldn't even had this here. So, but now it's starting to look like a real theme park. Now we're starting to see people walk into how I kind of want them to be pushed around. Still, the staff members can walk over that curb. You'll definitely see that later on, eventually. Now, I'm not going to wait for something like that to happen, but you will see staff members walk over that. I can also just shove like a wall here. But I think what we should do is we should put a rope. We should put some sort of... I know this rope wouldn't be like per se something you would take off and open every single time. It would probably be more like this kind of rope. Why would I still never get sometimes whose idea was to design it that way. They probably said I'll come back and fix it, and they never did. It would be something like this sort of rope. You know, a staff member come by, open it up, go through. But eventually they will come through this way and sort of cut across. Thought of a deal where Abby built apartments as I build houses. Ooh, the E-Room's really popping off. The E-Room's fire. Love to see it. Oh, let's go back into first person now. I kind of like to rename the staff members to Tegicam because I know eventually once I click on all the staff members, I can easily get into this mode quickly. Because sometimes I can spell Tegicam right and sometimes I can't. Tegicam is spelled T-E-G-I-D cam. Continuing on, this is what I was looking for. A bunch of people sort of walking this way. I'm so happy we thought about that. Inside here, here's a carousel ride. We're not going to get on a carousel ride. We kind of all know what a carousel ride kind of does. It goes in a circle. And then on the back, here is the genie ride. Not a lot of people are getting on the genie ride. And do these people have fast passes? No, but there's not really a need for a fast pass in this case. Or a priority pass in this game. And then this is the entrance to get onto the train. People are really loving the train. And I just cannot wait to see how it's all going to turn out when people are getting on the train a little bit later on. But before we sort of yeet this stream, we're going to ride a couple of these rides and just show everyone once again sort of how cool it is to be in Egypt in History Adventure. You just get on this ride and you can see the pyramids. You go up in the sky, you come down off the pyramids. I'm curious how this would look in a different seat. We always do it from the same seat. Let's go like 20 across. What's the view angle on this one? You don't really see a lot of pyramids on this angle until coming back, but you get a nice, good view on that. What about 15? 15's probably going to be on the back. Oh, 15 looks cool, too. This would definitely get me sick. I think I'm getting sick already just by being on this. And then the magic carpet ride. Now, what is the scenery rating on these? Scenery rating is really bad. But what I learned in this game from somebody is if you put down golden chests, it will boost up this thing so quickly that it's a little bit cheaty. And I think I'm going to do that because I want to boost these things up. No. And then Meep one day is going to come through this way and give us all the cheat codes. They're not cheat codes, but he's going to give us the absolute maximum efficiency. Moshe is going to eventually give us the maximum efficiency of what is the best stats per ride. Because that's what he does. This is at 67. That's a lot of gold chests. I thought the gold chests were the best ones in the game. This doesn't seem like it's popping off too much. Red Wolf, thanks for coming out to the stream. All right, how is this now? This is still 67, bruh. This is Q. Oh, we're trying to do the Q. Duh. What's it say now? 100%. All right, so we don't need this many chests. Let's delete this many. What if we put in 8? How much does 8 do? 8 does 100. Yeah, look at broken. So we're going to take 8 of them, shove this underground, and boom, 100% Q. What is this scenery? I'm curious. This is 70? Yeah. So you can go really in depth with some of these things if you did it correctly. Like, you know, they're trying to legitly make you make the queue look good. And you making the queue look good, more people are going to want to get on the ride. So that's why you want to kind of detail this pretty nicely. So we're just going to throw in a couple other things there, you know. Add in a couple of things. Literally buried treasure. Speaking of, this ride is doing good. This ride's doing good. This ride is now officially doing garbage. Man, I love it how the the whirligig. I hate this ride so much. So much. And when I saw it have so many people on this originally, I was like, wow, this is really doing good. But this one has a 21% ride satisfaction. What's this? 100%. This is 100. Okay, this one's 100%. This one's 100%. I didn't do anything on that one. This one's 59%. What? But like, look at this. Look at how much detail I put in this with trees and bushes and stuff like that, and they don't like the queue. But this is going to start getting people. This is what people are going to do when they start waiting in line. This one, I'm sure, is pretty high up there. This one's 100%. Not even going to worry about hiding something under there. I don't think there's any rides over here right now. And I hate how I instinctively changed the backing of this, which we're going to have to cover up at some point eventually. But I wanted these to be other little additional countries we added in later. For now, I think it's fine. We could always add in a little additional country, little things over here too. But man, Egypt is looking fire. I wish there was more people coming up to this though to take a photo at the photo thing. But people don't really want to come up here right now, so that's fine with me. We'll color that ride in right there. Maybe we need more ATMs. Oh, you know what? I keep always saying, like, I'm going to end the stream soon. I want to do a couple other things. Also, Red, we're going to be jumping into the voice chat later. So, oops. Unclick that. We're going to be jumping into the voice chat here in maybe about 15 minutes. All right, this ride's on. These buildings are in. These rides are on. Those rides are on. The train's on. So that's all in there. Good. I want to add this ride in. And this place down here probably doesn't have anybody working at it. Oh, there is. She is in it. Perfect. Now people are going to come down here at least and work the proper areas. This is looking good. All right. Perfect. So now everything's linked up. People are going to be working at the right spot. People are going to be getting on the rides. We got all the queue stuff set up and good to go. Why did no one clean this throw up yet? What's taking so long? I don't know. But, man, this park is really popping off now. It's really starting to pop off. There's probably other little details that we could throw in here. There's probably a little bit of other things we can do, too. That's something for a later in the stream. So, or another stream here. Let's kind of conclude today and explain what we're going to be doing next. Then one of the next things we're going to be doing is finishing the Alamo and getting that ready to go, or working on Slovakia. Do not know which one I'm going to per se do next. I do want the Alamo to have the main ride of the theme park, so that might not be built with the Alamo itself. So keep that in mind. We're gonna have the bumper cars. We're gonna have a couple other little, cute little rides outside, like the little rides. Not like this isn't little, but per se those sort of style things out front of the Alamo. Slovakia is gonna have those two big buildings that we already had before, and then Palestine is gonna have some sort of tracked ride. So those are some of the big things we're going to be finishing here. And I would like to get... I'm going to be really busy these next couple weeks. But eventually, my goal is to pretty much have half of this done by at least the end of April. If not earlier than that. And sort of wrap up... This side is going to be all sort of subjective until my brain comes in. And then we got to do something over here too, because this is very naked and very open. But what we can do right now, I guess, before we end the stream, I keep saying that. Let's add in these chain link fences here. Don't think anybody would, but you never know. I think people would sneak into the park. And plus, it's underneath a train track. You shouldn't have people run under your train tracks like that. We'll have to finish this too at some point too. Nice. You added color to the hieroglyphs. Yeah, thank you. I didn't think about that until literally today. I was gonna leave it as that, and I was like, you know what? No. In the pyramids, or in the Valley of the Kings, there was so much paintings and all that sort of stuff, and they were all colorful, very very colorful. So we had to. We really had to. And it's supposed to be a museum, so there's be a bunch of cool stuff down here. So, you know what? I think that's where we're gonna end it for today. Next stream is tomorrow Monday, or is today Monday? Today is Monday. The next stream, the next stream is not going to be happening for a while, unless it's going to be super early in the morning. I do not know yet. But we're going to be working more on this theme park, and then we're going to be going back to Fredcraft and all those other sort of series as well. Dead Rising 3, we're going to be streaming with Red Wolf and Brendan soon. We're going to figure out a date that works the best for all of us next week. And we're going to keep playing some Dead Rising 3 too. So those are our big 3 series. So thank you so much for coming out to the stream. Red Wolf, Cripsa, Mr. Dark, Justin, Joey, and everybody else. I am going to get something to drink, send some text messages, and we will be jumping into our Discord link in the link tree. So if you want to come on out and join us, me, Red, and Joey will be there for sure. On a Discord, playing some Fortnite, talking, chilling, maybe watching some videos. I don't know what we're gonna do, but if you want to jump out, you can always do that. We try to be on our Discord as often as we can. Sometimes we're on some different Discords too, but we try to do a Discord stream for the past 3 months. We've been on the Discord at least twice a week. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Red, sticking to the end, Cripsa, Mr. Dark, Joey, Justin, and everybody else that watch the stream live or in post-production. I am Claude for Chicago, and remember, a real Fridling makes their own luck. Bye!